Hey, I just wanted to share a couple stories from my time at MEPS. Neither one of them happened to me personally. I just thought I'd share them with you. The first one was the first day that I went to MEPS and did the physical and everything. Um, it was me and one other female that were processing and doing all the physical stuff together. And so when we got to the portion where you have to like strip down your bra and your underwear and do like the little wrist exercises and make sure your arms and legs work and all of that, the very first thing they do after you get undressed is they had you turn around, face the wall, and then squat. And the doctor wasn't in the room yet. It was just the female from MEPS that was chaperoning everything, and she was just checking to make sure basically you had coverage from your underwear, that your undergarments were appropriate. The girl that was with me, her her she wasn't wearing a thong or anything like that, but apparently they were a little bit shorter. And so when she squatted, like you could just see like the very top of her crack. Um, and so the lady there was like, "Well, I'm gonna have to get somebody to come in and give me a second opinion on if her attire was appropriate for MEPS or not." And so she stepped out of the office and had to go find another female to come in and check. But the girl that I was with was like, "I'm not I'm not coming back for for this if they send me home." But in her situation, she wasn't gonna sign a contract that day anyhow. She was just doing a physical for, she was trying to join some program to go to med school or something, and she was exploring all of her options, and this was just one of several options that she was looking into. So if for some reason she got disqualified, she didn't really care. Like it wasn't, she had other options. Um, but yeah, the female or the ladies came in and had her do it again, and the second lady was like, "Yeah, she's fine. You can't really see anything. She covers, what needs to be covered." But so that's moral of the story. When they tell you what to wear as far as your undergarments go, listen to what they tell you to wear. Although my recruiter, it's an office full of guys, so they felt really uncomfortable talking to me about what to wear for some reason. I guess they had a problem saying underwear or panties. I don't know, but it was kind of funny that they just told me to make sure it covered. And that's pretty much all they said. And they said you can't wear a sports bra, and that's all they said. And it's like, that's not really narrowing it down to anything, but thanks, guys. But I was fine. I mean, I knew what to wear anyhow. But the second story is on my second day that I went to MEPS, and I ended up just spending my day watching TV for 4 hours. I was sitting in the office, in the branch office area, which is just a room, and then they have, each branch has an office around the outside of the room. And then in the middle, there's a bunch of chairs and a TV that you can sit and watch TV while you're waiting for whatever your next step is. Um, there was about two or three guys sitting next to me that were talking about a girl that was joining the Marines, that apparently she decided to get a little attitude with someone. And according to them, I didn't witness this conversation personally, but according to them, she was talking to somebody who was associated with the Air Force, like had already been in, served their time, and was now just working at MEPS in some capacity. I don't really know who the guy is. Like, I mean, I've seen him. I could, if I saw him, I would know who he was, but I don't know anything about him. But it was the female applicant, this guy, and then another person. And they were all just kind of talking or about whatever. And it came up about, "Oh, what branch are you joining?" And the Marine Corps. And oh, why are you joining the Marines or something like to that effect? And she goes, because they're the best. Well, why are they the best? They asked. And I mean, at this point, they weren't like interrogating her. It wasn't like that. They were just, oh, why do you think they're the best? Or why are you interested in them? And just small talk, regular conversation. But this poor young female um, had a little attitude, and she goes, the Marines are the best because while the chair force is sitting in their air-conditioned offices on their asses, the Marines are out doing all the dirty work and keeping everybody, or getting the job done. Um, so of course, this guy associated with the Air Force goes, excuse me? And she repeats herself and then adds in a few more insults. And he goes, oh, well, okay. And so that's according to the guy. One of the guys was there and heard this conversation. Well, just as soon as he gets done telling that part, in marches Air Force guy. He goes straight back to the Marine Corps office and knocks on the door. There's a female Marine that was working there that she's a very intimidating lady. Like I haven't seen her face because I refuse to turn around and look at her. I mean, I'm not going for the Marines, so I don't have to see her. But I mean, I've seen her when she walks out and talking to like other people who work there and everything. She's very friendly, but as soon as the applicant walks through the door, it's like it's go mode, and she can be quite intimidating. But anyhow, not part of the story. But yeah, so the Air Force guy was talking to her, and he says, now, I understand that there's branch rivalry. I understand that there's jokes and a little rib poking and all of that. And he's like, and I don't have a problem with any of that. I'm fine with it. But what I do have a problem is just outright disrespect, and I will not tolerate it. So they're just kind of going like, what are you talking about? And so he tells them what happens. He describes what the girl looks like, and he goes, now, she's going for the Marines, and you guys are the Marine office, so I'm going to let you guys handle this however you see fit, because it's your, keep it in the branch, it's your guys' issue to deal with. He's like, but if it was up to me, she wouldn't be coming back. He was like, but that's your call. That's up to you. Marines handle your Marine business. And then he left. He like walks out the office and goes back to wherever it was he was. And so you kind of hear the door kind of shut real quiet. And I'm assuming they were talking about what happened. And a little bit later, the door opens and one of the male Marines walks out, leaves, comes back, and in comes, or right behind him is this female applicant, and slam the door shut, and you hear voices kind of raised a little bit, but you can't quite make out what they're saying, and then all of a sudden you hear this female Marine, what the fuck were you thinking? And then it gets real quiet, and you hear, the muffled voices, and then all of a sudden you hear, you can't do that, we expect, and then it gets kind of quiet, and a few minutes later the door opens, and this female applicant is getting marched out by one of the other Marines in the office to the front desk, which is where you check in and out, and anytime you go to a different area, you have to check in with them. Marches are right up there. And then from the branch office area, you can see there's a window into the main hallway, and you see her being walked out of MEPS, and she kind of was doing this. So she got sent home for at least the day. If it was up to the Air Force guy, it would be forever. I do believe they decided it was just until she had a change of attitude. So probably a few days or something. I don't know. Maybe she didn't get to come back. I don't know. Maybe she decided it wasn't for her. I have no idea. I don't know who this girl was. Don't know her name. Never saw her before. But that's what happened. So moral of the story is have a little respect and leave your attitude at home, especially when you are not in a position to be throwing around insults. Like, she was an applicant. She hasn't even sworn in yet, and she's already talking shit to somebody who had served, you know. It's like, and jokes aside, like, everybody has their jokes, the cheer force and Marines eat crayons and all that stuff, but at the end of the day, it's a joke, and I think most people in the military will respect the other branches as a whole. They might have a problem with somebody on an individual level, but usually not the whole branch. Um, and even if for whatever reason you decide you hate every other branch except the one you decide to join, don't tell people at MEPS that, because there's people from every branch that works at MEPS, both active duty and retired. Like, don't. MEPS is not the place you want to show off your attitude problem, because it's entirely possible that you will be sent home before you want to be. And depending who you piss off, you might not be allowed to come back. Because joining the military isn't a right, and they absolutely can disqualify you for whatever reasons they see fit. But yeah, that's just two things that I thought I'd share with you that happened in my visits to MEPS so far. Nothing super crazy, but have respect and make sure you wear the appropriate attire to MEPS. Otherwise, your day may be cut short. Anyhow, until next time, have a good one.